Everyone should come to the Philippines to eat. It's one of the cheapest countries to have fine dining in.
That's amazing. You know, one of the things I love is to ask chefs who I trust, to ask them, where do they eat? Josh, he took me to a place called Pat Gangsi.
So we're in San Antonio Village. It's kind of like in the center of Makati.
Okay, is this like a very old neighborhood, or?
It's an old neighborhood. It's an old community neighborhood.
What does kansi actually mean?
Kansi is the type of soup that they have.
Okay.
So that's the sour bololo, essentially, is what it is.
And Papat's the name?
Papat's the name. That's the nickname, I'm assuming.
There's no way I would ever have walked into Pat Gangsi by myself. I mean, it's super local.
Sanglaman.
If you look at the way chefs eat around the world, you'll find that some of the chefs who cook the fanciest food in the restaurants eat the simplest but most delicious food when they're not working.
I'm going to turn this so you can see what's inside there.
Oh my God, that's huge.
That's
awesome.
The Mara right there.
Didn't you come here with a lot of other chefs?
Yeah, little backstory here. When I was younger, living in Boracay being a party island, we would get drunk and wasted. 3 o'clock in the morning, there's one place that's open and that's sold bulalo. It's the best choice to eat because, you know, you're drunk, you want something to soothe your stomach and ready for the next day's work.
Excellent.
And ever since then, it's been my comfort food, bulalo.
10 years ago, 20 years ago, you asked the average person what their thoughts were on Filipino food, you would have gotten a negative response. People would have been like, I don't like eating Filipino food.
This is Filipino cuisine.
Yeah.
It's not photogenic, but the flavor's there.
But it's damn tasty.
It's tasty. Yeah. And this is what people need to understand. It's not for the Instagram. This is actually for our sustenance,
This would be a really horrible
enjoyment.
picture.
It would be a horrible picture.
What I ate blew my mind. And I've been an advocate of eating and drinking in Manila for years now. And so for me to come back here and to reconnect with friends and to discover new places to eat and drink in is a complete joy for me.
When disaster strikes in Asia, Singapore is the first port of call.
Literally, the second I turned around, I saw a wall of yellow and orange.
There was an emergency exit, but it was engulfed in flames. I turned back to look for Alan, and he was terribly burnt.
It was one of the worst earthquakes in Nepal in nearly 100 years.
Doctors who have gone beyond the call of duty.
Our team have never faced disaster of such a magnitude before.
We had to act fast. We had to act decisively.
Are you in or not? You need to answer me now.
To save lives that hang in the balance.
We could not rely on conventional methods and had to be creative.
I got a call to come back to the hospital, which made my heart stop.
Into the Unknown, Doctors on Call, premiering 2nd of May, Sunday on CNA.
5 athletes at the top of their game, training hard for the pinnacle event of their sports. But COVID-19 had other ideas.
The news just in, the Tokyo Olympics are to be postponed.
I was a little bit annoyed because that really messed up a lot of plans.
Everyone was uncertain.
We were actually relieved.
I was a little bit upset and frustrated.
Push. But preparations for the Olympics and the Paralympics carried on.
Working a lot with my coach, fixing a few technical errors here and there.
Trainings and competitions are going on in Europe, waiting to get back to Portugal.
Well done. 5-4-5.
Oh,
yay.
baby.
Well done, buddy.
Every time we take a break, we technically have to restart.
Gunning for the Olympics and the Paralympics. Watch Tokyo Dreams on demand at cna.asia.
Myanmar opening its doors to the world, but still much work is needed. The journey hasn't been easy, with pressure from within and without. Twists and turns line the way, but even when it's down, this country never stops trying. This is a country that can bank on its people. People who have the power to chart Myanmar's path. And people who have stories to tell the world.
Headline
Headline news this hour. India has recorded more than 234,000 coronavirus cases over the past 24 hours. Now, this marks the highest single-day spike so far since the beginning of the pandemic. Experts say a variety of factors, including complacency and failure to practice safe distancing and wearing of face masks, have given rise to the country's current massive second wave. Election rallies and festivals are also being held against the advice of experts. Countering China, the joint statement after the US and Japan summit mentions the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, and that's the first such reference since 1969, although it echoed comments in the statement by their defense and foreign ministers last month. Now, tensions between Russia and the US escalate as Moscow expels 10 US diplomats in retaliation against Washington. Now, the move is a parallel response to the Biden administration's earlier sanctions for alleged election interference and the massive SolarWinds hack. And that's the latest from the CNA newsroom.
Decades ago, on March 7, 1971, the leader of the Awami League, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, gave the call for the independence of Bangladesh, then known as East Pakistan. The proclamation led to a brutal crackdown by the Pakistani army on the people of Bangladesh.
প্রথমে করেছে হচ্ছে আমার বাবাকে, তারপরে আমার চাচাকে, তারপরে আমার ভাইকে, তারপরে আমার ফুফাতো ভাইকে।
বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে তারা হত্যা করেছে, তারা বাড়িঘর আক্রমণ করে হত্যা করেছে।
Around 3 million people were killed as Asia's new nation emerged into an uncertain future through mayhem and war. But 50 years after its birth, is the nation still haunted by its traumatic past? Has it fulfilled a part of Sheikh Mujibur's dreams of a democratic, peaceful, and exploitation-free society called Shona Bangla or Golden Bengal? Or has the price of independence been too high for the country to bear? This National Martyrs Memoriam, which stands proudly at the heart of the nation's capital, Dhaka, is a stark reminder of the blood-soaked birth of a populous nation 5 decades ago. The 7 pairs of triangular walls represent 7 defining chapters in the nation's history. The traumatic past is also etched on the marble slabs at Dhaka University that pay homage to the creme de la creme of Bangladesh society. The names include politicians, activists, professors, journalists, artists, doctors, intellectuals, students, and all those who dreamt of a modern, equal, and just society. They, however, did not live long enough to tell the tale, following one of the worst genocides the world had ever seen. But how and why did it happen? In 1947, it marked the birth of two independent nations, Pakistan and India. Pakistan celebrated its independence on the 14th of August